In this short training, I'm gonna share with you how I learned to free myself from the pain and struggles of my past in order to live life as a healthy, disciplined, and respected man. Not only that, I'm gonna share with you how I've helped numerous other men just like you to free themselves from their pain utilizing the free man method.
You are the best thing that's happened to me well over 50 years. And I thank you for this academy. Lord, do I thank you every day for it.
Once I made that decision and pulled that trigger, I've had no regrets since. As a whole, I'm more confident, I'm happier, and I'm proud of what I've done.
I'm getting to know the person that I never knew I was because I suppressed him so much that people are finding out, oh wow, I have a brother that tells me, you know what, I like the new Noah. Wow, he's much more fun to be with. I'm much more fun for me to be with. Kyle, I'm learning to laugh at myself now. And if I could pass that on to any guy who's considering any sort of change, I say don't put it off.
So if you're a man who is hurting, struggling in life, and nothing else has worked for you in the past, well, keep watching because I'm gonna share how the free man method can help free you from your problems in just a couple months instead of going to years of therapy. Now I'm going to take you through how the free man method came to be by sharing a bit about my personal journey and how the free man method has been so successful in helping numerous men just like you to overcome the pain of their past, become disciplined men, and live a fulfilling life. But first, let's go into a bit about my journey. So this is me, 10-year-old Kyle, who aspired to be a punk rock drummer, just like Travis Barker. I was a really nice kid. My mom always preached kindness, and I got the humanitarian award in my 6th grade graduation. I never got in trouble, never got detention once. And in my childhood, it was a quality upbringing. I can't complain that much. I had an older brother, and I grew up in a safe middle-class town in New York to a blue-collar Irish dad who did construction and a stereotypical Jewish mother. I always had food and shelter, and I can't complain about that, but my parents' relationship was toxic for as long as I can remember. It felt as though there was constant screaming, arguments, money problems, and just a lack of love in the home. And it's because, well, my parents, they had their own trauma and wounds. My dad's behavior, because of it, I felt afraid of him because he was always yelling. If I messed up in any way, I would get yelled at, put down, and made to feel terrible. And as I aged, I just played it low key to avoid him and do everything I could to keep him happy. And with my mom, because she had her own trauma from her upbringing and because of my dad's behaviors, she was always anxious, fearful, negative, and controlling. And she almost rejected every gift I got her. I say it was a tradition for my mom to always tell me to return the gifts I got her because she never felt deserving. And that hurts a little kid like me. And so as I grew up in my teenage years, all this rejection and fear led to me closing off verbally and emotionally. I became insecure in my body, struggled with relationships with older men, and I became that chameleon who just did everything he could to fit in and be loved because I just didn't want to feel how I felt at home. And I lived out of fear, doing everything I could to be loved by people. As I got into my college years, this didn't really change because I was in a relationship where I got broken up with that I really loved and felt unworthy again and not enough as a man until I found that girls in college liked me. I was cute apparently, and some of them wanted to have sex with me. And I began to associate sex with love. And I used sex and I used many women to feel good. And so I had sex with lots of women, lying so they would not leave me or get mad at me, telling them what they wanted to hear to please them, all to satisfy my fears of not being loved or good enough. And through this, I hurt myself, I hurt many others, many women in the process due to unfaithful acts, STDs, and just lying. And I thought, once I graduate with my doctorate in physiotherapy and I start making money, it would fix everything, but I was completely wrong. So I moved across country for my first job as a physiotherapist because I was like, I need to get away from my family. It's toxic. They're getting divorced and I need to go live for myself. I need freedom. And so though I felt good about making an income finally, my problems and behaviors in my personal life still persisted. I was cyclically depressed. I struggled with eating, getting out of bed, and I was using lots of coping mechanisms like sex, porn, and marijuana to cope with the pain that I was feeling. And I finally got to a breaking point in 2018 where I moved to San Diego thinking I would stay there for the rest of my life. and start my own business. I even got signed by an LA talent agency to start acting and modeling because I just wanted to find ways to make more money. I thought this was my dream, and it turned out to be the most miserable I've ever been in my life. I had suicidal thoughts, I was crying constantly, I was depressed because I had no connections, I had no support, and I had no idea what I was doing in my first business. And after a year, I quit that business, my part-time job, and I decided to go to the Middle East for a month and just take a break because something needed to change, like something bad was going to happen. And over the next 4 years, I did a lot. I paid off $100,000 in student loans to get that weight off me. I traveled to 25 countries, and I even lived in a van that you can see here on the left. And I got into helping myself personally. I got coaches personally and through business, investing over $50,000 into my personal development on top of the $100,000 that I spent on my degree. I studied sacred sexuality and trauma release teachings at the International School of Temple Arts, improving my relationships with men and women. I even went on a reality show called The One That Got Away. You can see me on Prime Video. And I went on morning talk shows, various podcasts, and I created a social media presence through education and entertainment, over 240,000 followers. Now, it doesn't really matter, but I think it's proof that people wanted to hear me. And I started therapy, which helped a little, but the truth is it was costly, it was taking a long time because you only go once a week, and it wasn't fixing the root cause of my problems. I wasn't getting any actionable steps to implement in my life to change my problems. And that's when I met my coach, Jess. I hired her when I finally began to lose interest in being in healthcare and being a PT. I just knew I was made for more, and with all the work I was doing personally, I wanted to help people in a different way, and I just did not want to just be working for a corporation the rest of my life. And so my coach, Jess, was finally the one who helped me get to the source of my issues by creating a safe environment for me to be myself fully, to not have to fear being criticized or judged. And she helped me feel secure in all parts of me. And as a result, helped me realize that I didn't have to hold shame over who I was or what I've done, and that I could be honest with others. And that's everything that I needed. And so as a result, I had all these realizations that men tend to people please, we overthink, we fear creating boundaries and being assertive and asking for what we want because we were never taught how to regulate our emotions or handle conflict because of the conditioning and experiences we had growing up. That we hold fear-based trauma that hinders our decision-making, causes a lack of trust in ourselves, and creates disconnection in our body from our head because we're always up here thinking about what to do and never really connected to our body. And we fear feeling the same feelings that we had growing up of rejection, abandonment, and not being loved. And I realized that therapy for women and men is not the same. That what men really need is we need to feel capable, powerful, and be surrounded by other healthy men who are supportive of our goals as well. And so through that, I finally became a free man. I finally led a life that was living up to my last name, Kyle Freeman. And this was all through somatic release techniques, having a safe space to be heard and seen fully without judgment, and being given actionable, healthy habits. That I started to finally be myself, be honest, accept who I was, spoke my truth, and felt free from my fears and my pain of the past. It was like, finally. And so because of this, I was like, people need to know this. Other men need to know this. And I wanted to share with them. I wasn't fearful anymore. And I said, I want to help men who are just like me. And so I began sharing what I learned. This was me on one of Australia's biggest men's health podcasts with Cam Fraser. And I continued learning new skills such as breathwork, meditation, cold therapy, nervous system, and emotional regulation. And through this time, I've now helped tens of thousands of people through my free content, as well as over 100 paid clients release the pain of their past. Because I realized my mess is my message, and so is yours, that you have a mess in your life, and that is your message as well. And through sharing all this, people began to listen. As you can see, I gained a lot of followers across my platforms, which isn't the most important part, but it means that what I was saying resonated with lots of people. And so I created the Free Man Method because I knew I needed to take everything that I learned and put it into a easy to follow guide that would help other people get through the same problems I had, not in years, not wasting your time in therapy, but just in 3 months. So I'm going to take you through what that looks like right now. So if you're watching this video, this is likely where you are in life. This is your starting point, that maybe you're struggling with a lot of the same problems I had, that you are hiding your true self, maybe fear of judgment, your emotions control you, or you feel numb, lack motivation. Your health is lacking. Maybe you're pleasing everyone else. You don't have healthy relationships or support. You're holding on to pain of the past from broken relationships, and you just feel exhausted, anxious, and depressed. And these are the 3 options that most men have. It's to do nothing, fix it yourself, or get help. And so let's look at what doing nothing typically does, which is what most men do at first. And that leads to us feeling hopeless because nothing changes. We continue the cycle of allowing our past trauma to drive our life. Our self-esteem continues to drop. We self-sabotage. Our health and relationships suffer. We become cynical, and we start using coping mechanisms like I did, like alcohol, sex, food, and Netflix. And it's only when something really bad happens that we change. When we have really bad health problems, marriage or relationship ends, self-harm or something. And that forces us to get help, okay? And so we end up back here. We end up back here in the beginning. So now we're here and we go, all right, let me fix it myself. Let me try and do this because I still fear getting help, and I could do this myself because I'm a man, because that's what we do as men, right? So what do? Well, we scroll social media content for help. Maybe that's how you found me. Self-help books and podcasts. You ask friends and family for advice who probably don't even have the best advice for you. You create your own plan, not knowing if it'll even work, and you figure it out all in your head and deal with everything alone, because that's what men do, right? We can do it all ourselves. I don't need help. And you might make some progress, but you waste lots of time. There's no one to support or encourage you. You're struggling to know if you're even doing it right, and you can't see your own blind spots. So oftentimes we fall back into our old habits, which brings us right back here in this feeling of hopelessness, frustration, all the things, and possibly back here where something really bad happens, and now we're forced again to try something new and get help. So you're back here, right? Now you're like, all right, I need help. I'm open to it. Clearly nothing's working. So let me try one of these routes. Let me try a typical route, which most people say. So that is talk therapy. Let's start here. That's where most people start. Well, talk therapy can help, not putting it down, where you can begin opening up and understanding yourself. But many times we struggle to find the right therapist, that we just get matched with someone through a company, and it takes a long time. You only get 1, 2, maybe 3 times per month, and the progress is very slow, that you're just talking and someone's listening. And so that's why many people come to me. Well, then they try getting medicated maybe with antidepressants or anti-anxiety meds, which may help stabilize you and help some symptoms. Some people do need it, but it numbs the pain and your emotions, and it's not a fix. It's just a Band-Aid. And there's lots of side effects, and it doesn't fix the source of your pain. And then some people even go to retreats or seminars, which I've been to many and can be very helpful and inspire you to make some changes. But you get a high that usually lasts maybe a couple weeks if you're lucky, before many times we fall back into those old habits because we don't have support, we don't have someone around us to keep us accountable and integrate what we've learned. And so what happens? We have some improvements. We might feel a bit better, but we're still not where we want to be. We still feel like we're holding on to some weight or pain, and we're not sure how to integrate everything together. So what ends up happening with this? Well, we end up typically back here, still feeling hopeless, still frustrated, still feeling like, what is wrong with me? Why do I keep still having the same patterns and problems? And so that's when we start to look at a multifaceted approach. And that's where the free man method comes into play. So let's skip all of that and check out the free man method. And this is what I've learned, and this is what I've learned all men need in order to actually have real change. That doesn't take forever, that gives you actionable steps to create real change. So what happens is the first phase is phase 1, where we do a pattern interrupt. And that requires us taking a pause on your life to look at what is working, what is not, and look at where we want to go. Who is that ideal version of yourself that you want to be? That's that high frequency, high energy, living in alignment, and not who you are now, this low energy, low frequency man who's not doing things that make him happy. So that way we can reverse engineer who this ideal self is and create new habits starting today to become that version, to start doing what that ideal version of you does. And through that, you get support by one-to-one personalized coaching and goal creation that are specific to you, not some cookie cutter thing that every therapist does. No, what are your specific goals and how can we get there as fast as possible? Now, once we create these new habits and this new pattern and are consistent with it, next we go into phase 2, which is called somatic release. And that is where we begin to improve our self-awareness about our behaviors, our thought patterns. We start to release a lot of the limiting beliefs from the past and all the negative conditioning from the past, like me with my mom and dad, all the experiences and trauma that you've been. We start to release that through somatic activities, getting it out of your nervous system and out of your body that talking doesn't do, to release those repressed emotions, all of that anger, sadness, frustration, guilt, and begin to integrate these teachings into your nervous system so you can begin to calm down and not be so reactive to the same triggers that came up in the past. So you're not stressed, you're not anxious, and you're not living in fear. And then we move to phase 3, where we create a perspective shift. Now that we've released a lot of this, we've created the new habits to step into our ideal self. Now we start to have this perspective shift of, wow, there is a lot more hope. There is a lot more I can do. What is the life that I want to live? And how do I want to create the reality around me? Because now you have the confidence by showing up and doing what you say you're going to do to take radical action, to stop living in fear and start taking steps out of love, to become the creator of your reality and step into your ideal self. And all of this is supported by community and support by me, through safe, supportive community of other men doing the same work, daily tech support, and 1 year of access for integration. This is not just 3 months and you're done or you're just left hanging to figure it out on your own. No, it takes doing these steps, integrating them, and then having support to make sure you don't fall back into the old version, that you are accountable and you have community that is doing the same thing, because you are a summation of the 5 people around you. And so if you're surrounded by people doing the same work, making the same progress, you're going to be doing that same thing. And so ultimately what happens as a result and what has happened for the men who have gone through this, well, you have accelerated sustainable lifestyle change in just 6 to 12 weeks. You have the confidence to begin going after what you want without fear, whether that's a new job, living in a new place, a new relationship, opening up in your current relationship, saying goodbye to anxiety and stress, creating a lifestyle that supports your mental and physical health, having improved communication and relationships, living authentically in your truth and stop putting on masks, and you feel a higher self-esteem. You start to love yourself and feel better about yourself. And you have 1 year of integration support to ensure that that does not change and you stay on this upward trajectory towards the life you want to live. And just so you know that I'm not making this up, I want to share some just quick testimonials from men who have been through the program and what they have gained. So Tim went through the program saying he felt like $1 million accomplished and ready to shine. All in all, living my best life for me, making conscious decisions for my happiness, slowing down, being present, and taking in all the moments and enjoying them all. Also, Noah, who after being in the program realized the benefits and said he would have put off so many other things to pay for this and devote his time rightfully because he wasted so much time avoiding getting help, multiple decades. And stating, I know very kind, but saying that I'm a king and how amazing I am, and that he found the one he needed to know for so long, who understands his demise and where he needs to go so that he can be the Noah he was always supposed to be. And that is what I want for you as well. So that's why I want to ask you, what about you? If you are in a stage of life where you are exhausted of always giving and never receiving, that you want to let go of the pain of the past, you're tired of putting on masks, repressing your true self, and pleasing society, pleasing the media, pleasing your parents, tired of letting others take advantage of you, and you want to feel confident and take power back in your life and have more opportunities and abundance to come your way by asking for what you want, then the question is, are you ready to take that step? And if you are, click the link below this video to schedule a free consultation to discuss your situation with me and find what solutions work best for you. See, this is an individualistic approach where we look exactly at your problems and see what solutions you individually need, but are also a part of a community that is supportive, where you have steps to integrate, habits to integrate, to make real change. You don't have to fear judgment. You don't have to fear criticism or shame. But what you do need to fear is not taking the steps and staying exactly where you are right now and being in the same place a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, because you are fearful of taking that step. And so just know I've been there. And so if you are in this spot, if you need help, please, there's no obligation. There's no money. You can schedule a free consultation call with me to discuss your situation. I am here to help you find the right solutions, whether that's with me or someone else. But do not stay quiet. Do not continue trying to do it all on your own. Reach out for help, and I will be there to help you and see what solutions we could find that are best for you. So if that feels right for you, please reach out. Schedule a link below this video. Do not wait. Do not hold off any longer. We need to come together as men. There is an unhealthy amount of men in society right now, and we need to come together and be in tribe where we can open up and support one another and feel supported as well. That you deserve love, you deserve support, and you can have the life you deserve. You just got to ask for help. With that said, I'm Dr. Kyle Dean Freeman. I'm a men's empowerment coach, and I am here to help men just like you to get past the pain of your past. And so if you're ready to do so, click the link below this video, schedule a consultation, and I'll be happy to chat with you. With that said, sending you love wherever you are in the world, and I hope to see you soon. Cheers.